Recently, a video was released on YouTube and it quickly started trending. With over 2.5 million views in one day, you may be curious as to what this video is, why you are lonely, and how to make friends. That video touched on a number of relevant topics, including post-pandemic effects that many younger people are feeling after being forced into quarantine and isolation, how a lack of social connection is associated with a number of diseases and a shorter life, and why the upcoming generations are experiencing an increasing rate of anxiety and depression. In this video, we're going to analyze why many of us may be feeling lonely, using my own life as an example. And in the end, I'll share some practical things that we can all do to help us make better friends.
Team Reez.
Over 2.5 million views on a video in less than 24 hours. It's crazy. And the fact that the video is about loneliness and how to make friends is definitely signaling that this is a need for many people and a sign that we are not discussing this enough. I won't be going over the video in its entirety, but I will share the clips that I can speak the most about. And at the end of this video, I'll be sharing some key takeaways I think all of us can benefit from. So be sure to stick around for that.
Surprisingly nowadays, loneliness is highest among young people, whose relationships were also hit especially hard by the global pandemic. Social distancing stopped teens and young adults from mingling in classrooms, clubs, or dorms. Millions of friendships, maybe lifelong friendships, that might have blossomed will never exist.
What is being described here is that something that I believe the pandemic only exacerbated. Less time in reality and more time on social media and the internet has caused a negative social shift that is having a huge impact on younger generations, since these are the groups that are actually being brought up in the digital age. The negative consequences of the lockdown have disconnected a lot of younger people who were already struggling with making connections and having social anxiety, and struggling with being attached to their phones and social media. Now what we are seeing in real time are the effects this has on our actual lives and the way we feel.
Okay, as with all important things in life, making friends is infuriatingly simple, but not necessarily easy.
Simple, but not easy. This is a side point, but it's something worth noting. A lot of things in life are foundationally simple, but the things involved in it are not easy. Here's a few examples to explain what that means. Losing weight is a fairly straightforward and simple concept. If you burn more calories than you consume, then you will lose weight. What that actually looks like is having discipline to go work out and train your body. Having discipline to eat the food you need instead of the food you want. Having patience and understanding that it won't happen overnight. If all of that was easy, everyone would do it. It's simple, but not easy. Building a healthy relationship is simple, but not easy. Starting a business is simple, but not easy. Get it? Let's keep going.
The most important thing about making friends. People make friends with other people when they spend casual time together. This is how our ancestors formed their relationships, because humans lived in small, close-knit communities in which options for making friends were limited, so we just formed good relationships with the people who were around us. This is why it's so easy to form new friendships in school and university.
What's being discussed here is proximity, a very basic concept that was taken for granted until the pandemic hit. What a lot of us don't realize is that simply being around other people is what drives our connections and how we develop friendships. When you're around other people, whether it's at school, at work, at church, team sports, whatever, it forces you to be around people you probably wouldn't normally be around. And proximity is a huge factor that plays into making connections and having friends. Because of the pandemic, proximity went away, and now we are seeing the effects of that.
Why we don't have enough friends. The main reason for a lack of friendships is the simple fact that most people don't prioritize friendships nearly enough. They don't realize until it's too late that retaining friendships demands regular energy and attention. Although they are so important for happiness, friends often take a backseat to other life decisions. Work, commuting, romance, or kids take up so much time and energy that it's so much easier to crash on your couch and lose yourself in mindless activities. Especially as an adult, going for a bike ride, getting dinner, or visiting a hobby store takes much more mental effort and commitment than it did after school, when time ran slower and energy and curiosity were abundant. But it's not just adults who are too busy for friends. The average American teenager spends more time on TikTok every day than socializing at parties, events, or on the phone with friends combined.
The average American teenager spends more time on TikTok every day than 3 forms of major socialization methods combined. That is very alarming. I will also say that a lot of people in their early 20s probably fit into that as well. But what I really want to talk about is the prioritization of friendships. Going from graduating college to moving into a full working life, I've personally seen how things change as you progress into different stages in life. Everyone is always so busy, but my thing is, people will always make time for the things they want. What I personally learned to do, instead of saying I don't have time, say it's not a priority to me. That hits a whole lot different. And that applies to way more than just friendships. Speaking to my personal life, the people in my close circle, I've been progressively hearing from them less and less. And that's mostly them being heavily involved in their work and their romantic relationships. The reason I don't take offense to that is because I know they are actively working towards great things. And one person only has so much capacity to function. But the reality of that is that our friendship just naturally gets pushed to the back burner. And since a lot of my close friends moved away and are no longer in close proximity, it becomes really easy for us to go days or even weeks without connecting. So I've gone from spending a lot of time connecting with my peers to basically just having maybe one real conversation with them per week. And these are my close friends I'm talking about. It's a lot of other factors that play into that, but that's just something that naturally happens when you enter different stages of adulthood. If you don't prioritize the good friendships you have, you start to fall off with each other.
To make friends, it helps if you intentionally look for people you have things in common with and who are open to new relationships. You want to make it easy for yourself, so examine what kind of person you are. Generally speaking, extroverts tend to crave sensory stimulation, spicier foods, loud music, or the excitement of engaging a crowd. Introverts, often confused with shy people, tend to be more sensitive to sensory stimulants and prefer quieter surroundings, fewer people, and even less spicy food. Different places attract different people. Not everybody can easily make friends at a bar or a football game. Not everybody finds a stroll through a park or a bookstore stimulating.
Here the video pivots into ways you can make friends. It offers practical advice of analyzing your own interests and putting yourself in environments where others will most likely share that same interest. Quick example, if you like sports, it makes sense for you to find friends at a sporting event compared to you going to a knitting club to hang out. I think that concept is very easy to understand, so I'm going to wrap this up. Here are my main 3 takeaways I want to share with you all, and it's all practical advice. Number 1, get out the house. Contrary to popular belief, I'm an introvert. When I make these videos, this is the most I speak all week compared to the rest of the week combined. I'm naturally a loner, and being alone doesn't bother me. But I said all of that just to highlight the importance of getting out the house. I'm a homebody telling you this. It's crazy to think you can make friends if people never see you to know you exist. A lot of people are playing hide and seek. They're hiding in the house and want their future best friend or spouse to come and seek them. It doesn't work like that. You have to make yourself accessible. I have a friend who has recently told me she has been feeling really lonely emotionally, but she also has been putting herself in a position to be known. Being around people is one thing, but allowing them to share in your life is another thing, which takes me to my next takeaway. Face the fear. On the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. In this case, is quality relationships. What prevents a lot of people from seeking friendships is the fear of rejection, pain from previous fair relationships, unwillingness to leave their comfort zone, and a whole list of other things. In case you didn't know, I'm an active boxer, and this is an analogy I like to use. You can't expect to win if you let the fear of getting hit stop you from ever getting in the ring. What that means is putting yourself out there is a risk. You risk getting hurt. That's just the reality of it. But if you never take that risk, you will also never get that relationship you truly long for. And in my opinion, that's an even heavier burden to live with. The last takeaway I have to share is be genuine. I promise I'm not trying to brag, but a lot of people tend to gravitate towards me, even with me not saying much. The reason for that is I genuinely care about other people. I randomly check up on other people because I know how it feels to not have that. I sit and talk to the people who are often neglected. I offer kindness and generosity to others whenever I can. In other words, the best way to make a friend is to be a friend. If you just genuinely love your neighbor as yourself, you will influence a lot of people in a positive way. If all you are concerned about is yourself and you fail to really learn about others and pour into their life the way you want them to pour into yours, you're probably going to push away people who can be a really great friend to you. I know this video was a long one, so if you stuck around to the end, you're a real one, and I appreciate you. For all my Christian friends, if you ever feel lonely, remember, there's power in prayer. Be great, family. Easy.
Team Reez.
Thanks for watching. Click here to subscribe and click here to watch more videos.